George Orwell's Animal Farm. It's this incredible story about a revolution, right? It starts with this beautiful dream of freedom, but somehow it just twists and twists until it becomes this absolute nightmare of control. So the big question is, how? How does a rebellion that's built on so much hope completely collapse into tyranny? Well, let's dive in and break it down.
Okay, so everything kicks off with one voice. This is Old Major, a prize-winning boar, and he gathers all the animals from Manor Farm together to tell them something he's realized. He just paints this incredibly grim picture of what their lives are like under the farmer, Mr. Jones. They're short, they're full of hard labor, and they all end at the slaughterhouse. Now this quote, it isn't just a complaint. It's the spark. It is the one single idea that's about to ignite the entire revolution.
You see, Old Major doesn't just point out the problem. He actually offers a solution, a pretty radical new vision for their future. He calls it a dream of freedom, and it's built on a philosophy that is going to change that farm forever.
So the pigs, being the smartest animals on the farm, they take Old Major's teachings and turn them into this whole system of thought they call animalism. And its core belief is, well, it's devastatingly simple. The problem isn't bad luck, it's not poverty, it's man. That's it. Get rid of him, and the source of all their suffering is just gone forever. This one idea is the central pillar holding up their entire worldview.
And Old Major lays out these really clear, absolute rules for this new society. Man is the enemy, a parasite that just consumes and consumes. Animal unity? Absolutely essential. And they have to reject everything human. No clothes, no beds, no money, none of it. Their ultimate goal, their one single duty, is rebellion.
So, this dream, it doesn't stay a dream for very long. That hope becomes a shocking reality, and honestly it happens way faster than anyone could have possibly imagined. You know, the breaking point isn't some grand, planned-out attack. It's just a moment of pure neglect. Mr. Jones gets drunk, he's careless, and he completely forgets to feed them. The animals are so hungry they just can't take it anymore. They break into the store shed, and when Jones and his men show up with whips, they fight back. And this spontaneous uprising, it's a complete success. Just like that, Manor Farm is theirs. So to make this new society official, the pigs paint what they call the 7 commandments on the side of the barn. This is basically their constitution, an unalterable law. This is the moment where all of Old Major's ideals are turned into actual concrete rules that everyone can see. Their dream is literally written into law. And you know what? At first it works. It really, really works. That first harvest they do without any humans is the biggest the farm has ever seen. Everybody works as hard as they can, and for the very first time, every single bite of food is their own. They are free, they are well-fed, and they are happy. This is the golden age of Animal Farm. But a little shadow falls on this perfect scene. Right after the cows are milked, there are these 5 buckets of rich, creamy milk just sitting there. But when the animals come back from the fields, the milk has vanished. It's a tiny detail, almost forgotten in all the excitement, but it is the very first crack in the foundation of their perfect society. The success of the rebellion creates a brand new problem. Who's in charge? With their common enemy, Mr. Jones, gone, a power struggle starts to bubble up from within. And right at the heart of this whole struggle are 2 pigs, Snowball and Napoleon. Snowball is the idealist. You know, he's brilliant, he's a great speaker, and he is full of these grand plans, like building a windmill to get electricity and cut the work week down to just 3 days. Then you've got Napoleon. He's the pragmatist, or at least that's what he seems like. He's quiet, he's cunning, and he's all about gaining support behind the scenes, promising really practical things, like a full manger. These are 2 very, very different visions for the future. The whole debate over the windmill finally comes to a head. Snowball gives this passionate speech, and he's totally winning over the animals. But just then, Napoleon lets out this high-pitched whimper, and in that one moment, 9 enormous dogs, the puppies he'd secretly been raising, storm into the barn and chase Snowball right off the farm. And that's it. Debate is over. Brute force has just won. Napoleon doesn't waste a second. He immediately starts to consolidate his power. He gets rid of the Democratic Sunday meetings. He announces that from now on, a special committee of pigs, led by him of course, will make all the decisions. And then, in this totally stunning reversal, he says the windmill project is back on, claiming it was his idea the whole time.
So, with Snowball gone and all debate silenced, the farm enters its final, darkest phase. The principles of the rebellion aren't just ignored anymore. They are systematically taken apart through a campaign of power, lies, and pure fear.
So how does Napoleon keep control? Well, a big part of it is through the unwavering, unthinking loyalty of animals like Boxer the cart horse. His personal mottos basically become the mantras for the entire working class. I will work harder is his answer to every single problem, and Napoleon is always right is his answer to every single doubt. This kind of blind faith, it's the bedrock of Napoleon's whole regime.
Their main method is to control the past. It's that simple. When the windmill collapses in a storm, who gets the blame? Snowball. Napoleon's propagandist, a pig named Squealer, spins every lie as some kind of clever tactic. Pretty soon, Snowball is being painted as a traitor who was working with Mr. Jones from the very beginning, and his actual heroism from past battles is just completely erased from history.
Then the pigs start acting more and more like humans. They move into the farmhouse, they start sleeping in beds, and when the other animals are like, hey, wait a minute, they go check the barn wall and discover the commandment has been adjusted. It now reads, no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets. See how sneaky that is? And later, after a brutal purge, another commandment is changed. The rule against killing now says, no animal shall kill any other animal without cause. This is the final descent into pure terror. Napoleon gathers all the animals, and his dogs drag forward 4 pigs who confess to being in league with Snowball. They're immediately slaughtered. Then it's hens, a goose, some sheep. A pile of dead bodies grows as animal after animal confesses to these absurd crimes right before being executed. The 6th commandment has been shattered, and from this point on, fear rules the farm. And then, the very last symbol of that original dream is just extinguished. Squealer announces that Beasts of England, their anthem of hope and rebellion, is now forbidden. The rebellion is over, he says, so the song isn't needed anymore. The dream is now officially dead. And through the eyes of Clover, the gentle cart horse, we really feel the depth of this betrayal. As she looks out over the farm, she just knows that this new world of terror and slaughter is not the future they all fought for. It's not the free, equal society that old Major ever dreamed of. But she just doesn't have the words to express her heartbreak.
And that brings us to the story's chilling, timeless question. Animal Farm is this stark warning, right? Overthrowing a tyrant is really just the beginning. The real challenge is everything that comes next. Because when all the dust settles, how easily can the ideals of freedom be twisted to serve a new and maybe even more ruthless kind of power?